Since the beginning of the end, this UFC Reebok deal.
You know what?
I feel like something's in the works here.
Seems like.
Should we lay out what the plan was? I have the details here.
Please.
You know, last week when we talked about it, we thought it was pretty blasphemous.
Yes.
But it's even more blasphemous when we have the real numbers that are actually less than last week. So one to five fights.
Okay.
1 to 5 fights, $2,500. 6
Wow.
to 10, $5,000. 11 to 15, $10,000. 16 to 20, $15,000. 21 and above, $20,000. Title challenger, $30,000. The champion, $40,000. So, you know,
only one fight. Holy fuck! How many guys qualify
I
for
think
that?
it's
Like
only
two?
3, and I forgot who the people were.
Probably Faber is one.
Fuck, who was it?
Jorgensen.
Tebow. Wilson Tebow.
Bison
He's been
Tebow?
forever. He's one of the guys.
Do they count WEC days too?
They should. I don't know
that's
if
what
they
I'm thinking.
will.
Like some of those guys.
Because you should count WC, you should count Strikeforce, you should count Pride. Anyone that the UFC has purchased,
Nice.
those fights should count.
But they probably don't.
Well,
Yeah, this is like what the fuck.
They're just trying to fuck everybody.
Yeah. This is not a lot of money for a sold sponsorship. I would imagine a guy that's resourceful could easily get more than that, even at the lower levels. If it was going to be televised, right?
Mhm.
Couldn't you sell like? I mean, shit.
Yeah.
$2,500.
And you can sell anything. People will pay money.
Yes.
Fact.
True. Yes.
So why does the UFC wait 3 weeks before the policy goes into effect to tell the fighters what they're going to be making or what they're not going to be making?
Well, because there's no time to dispute it. You just give us,
hey.
just to let you know, tomorrow, change of policy. Yeah.
So is it a shock when you see the reaction from fighters then? It's
No.
pretty...
As expected. Some guys are happy, though, it seems like.
I saw one. I think it was Jorgensen. Scott Jorgensen was happy. Maybe 2 that were legitimately happy. Everybody else out there from... Shit, you go down the line. It was Brendan Schaub.
Mitrione.
Tim Kennedy.
Tim Kennedy. Oh, well, yeah. Tim Kennedy's been very outspoken lately.
I think he wants to fight for Bellator. But it's just... I don't know. I'm trying to think. What is the UFC doing? Are they just so desperate for money right now that they're just, however we can get money in, fuck it, we'll take it from the fighters? And it's really unfortunate because I read the contract. I went back and found Eddie Alvarez's 2012 contract.
Is he still in the UFC?
Yeah,
Okay.
his UFC contract.
Okay.
Because remember when there was that issue between him and Bellator, it became public?
Yep.
And I wanted to see if there was a clause in there because it sounded like bullshit and not even legal that they can force them to wear this. And there's actually something in there that says, notwithstanding the foregoing, Zuffa shall have the right to include any advertising or other informational material of Zuffa sponsors, or other entities designated by Zuffa on the trunks, gloves, robes, shoes, regalia, or any other part of the costume. I didn't know they were costumed. Of fighter or any of the fighter's affiliates during or at any bouts, pre-bout events, or post-bout events. So pretty much they're already covered from a legal standpoint in an old contract. But
shit that probably people don't read into because it's been one way so long.
It's like a 22-page contract too. I'm
sure.
fucking trying to find. I just had to type sponsor and like sponsor to find this little excerpt. But the other interesting thing that they said is that if the UFC does a one-off, so say Monster Energy wants to sponsor fighters for an event, that logo will go on the shorts along with Reebok. But the fighters will not get any money from it.
Whoa.
On top of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they going to start paying them a lot more? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
Not via bonus, but just base salary?
No.
No? Are they getting like a base salary to be a fighter?
No.
Yeah, maybe they should. That would be it. Wouldn't that be something?
Just a salary? You don't even get paid per fight?
No, like you'll have a base, right?
Base!
Base.
How low can you go?
No, like, so, because a lot of these guys keep saying they can't make a living off fighting, right? So, okay, if there was a base salary that allowed you to make a living, say you hit a certain level of like UFC notoriety where you're making X dollars, they give you a base, you know, to kind of build you up so that you can actually train until you get
Well,
there.
it's like a team takedown scenario, but the UFC is giving you the base.
Yeah, like they invest in the lower tiers to try to build up their brand for them to. I don't know. I'm thinking that's what they're doing, right? Because they wouldn't be evil giant corporation fucking everything in sight, right?
Well, I mean, this goes hand in hand with the other thing that I just read today about the UFC Fan Expo, that Reebok is now the only apparel company that is allowed to be there, and Muscle Farm is the only supplement company that's allowed to be there.
Interesting.
So Fight Chicks, they basically told them to go fuck themselves. You cannot be here anymore. So it's kind of weird because you also look at all these brands and all these sponsors that have supported the UFC since the beginning, and now the UFC is basically just going fuck you to everybody out there.
Mm-hmm.
And
fuck you, pay me.
Right. It almost is. It's like they're begging to get sued, and they're begging for a fighter union.
Why? Why would they?
I don't know why, but did you say Nate Quarry is talking about starting a fighter union?
Yeah, he's been talking about it, I think, for some time now, but I think it's getting serious. Like, he really wants to do it. And he had some very strong words regarding this contract. If you just Google, like, Nate Quarry recently, or go to his Twitter, I think he put it up there. There's a huge wall of text that you can read. Very interesting perspective from that guy on what's happening, you know? And he's more along the lines of like a Tim Kennedy. Or, it seems like these like guys who are really against it are the really intelligent like guys who are just kind of business sense is there, you know? And I don't know how to take Chael Sonnen. Like, is he serious? Is he not serious? What
did he say?
Well, he seems like, oh, the guys should have never had a chance to have the logos themselves anyway. No other sport has that. You can't walk around and put shit on your uniform in other sports. But
see, here's the problem. It's not a fucking team sport. It's an individual sport.
Correct.
And these guys aren't even fucking employees. They're independent contractors. So this whole thing is a clusterfuck in my book. And when we talk about how do you kill the UFC, well, here's a good path. Put on more events and you have fighters to make good cards for, where if one fighter gets injured, you have the possibility of having to cancel the whole card. You have this drug testing where you have the Elliot Ness of drug testing coming in, who's going to do everything and anything, possibly illegal, to find out if you're doing drugs or not. And then this Reebok stuff. Yeah. It's just, and then when all this kicks in, here we go with vanilla UFC. No flavor, no nothing. Reebok the only brand. And you're starting to see a little bit of backlash against Reebok right now. And I think in this last event, people were booing when someone was thanking Reebok.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is a little far-reaching because it may have the opposite effect of what Reebok thought going in. Like, hey, we're doing a great thing. You know, we're going to sponsor it. We're going to be a uniform. But now everyone's turning on you, and it may actually hurt you. So you pay all this money out, you sponsor all these fighters, and then no one's going to buy anything. And we kind of saw a little of that.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't make any sense. What if the UFC didn't even tell them what the fuck they were going to do? Like, maybe it was just, like, done another way. They only told them the good stuff and left out, like, yeah, we're fucking all the fighters over. I don't know if you know that. The fan, you know, we have, like, the most loyal / underground fan base ever. Yeah. And these people are basically, like, anonymous / like, crazy jiu-jitsu guys. Right. You know? So it's, yeah, they probably, I would imagine they never told them that. And, I mean, you got to be crazy to say, okay, we're going to go through with this deal when this is bad. This is all very bad.
It's not good. I mean, we're heading down this path of, I want to see the fighters make as much money as possible. And every time I see the UFC keeps trying to do stuff to take stuff away from them. And now, again, it's going to push people. Like, look at Phil Davis. He was probably more than happy to go to Bellator. If you can get your own sponsors, I'm going to want to go there. And then you can talk about Metamoris, too. Joe Lozon just competed there. I want to go into a little more detail later, but at least he was able to wear his own sponsor at that event. Yes. And maybe now you're going to see a trend of more UFC fighters going over there because you can get some more money. It seems to make a little sense.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's funny. You thinking about this, like, it sounds like they've done a really good job restricting now their employees' ability to earn a living. And I think that's extremely dangerous, because if you do have talented people that are in that situation, they're going to leave.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying like talented is, oh, a guy can fight, and I'm saying a guy who's got his business sense, and he's a smart, you know, like Rich Franklin, those kind of guys, like someone like that who's got his, you know, shit together.
Perfect example, Uriah Faber. He started 2 brands, I think Torque, and I forgot what the other brand is, but now he can't even promote his own shit.
Yep.
I was like, fuck, man. You know, the way they've gone about this is 100% the wrong way, and hopefully they could fix it. I think what they could do to fix this is just let Reebok own the backside of their shorts. You know, own the ass side.
Perfect.
Right?
Yes.
And then let the fighters own the front. Like, have a compromise somewhere. Because right now, it's just the UFC dictating what the fighters are making 100% now.
Yep.
They have no control. Because it's even the whole fight week. Whole fight week, you have to wear all the fucking Reebok bullshit.
Yeah.
And as of right now, I'm not impressed with any of the styles I've seen.
I agree.
It's I'm not going to say it's shit, but it's shit. Sorry. It is what it is.
I like the NASCAR style. Like, lots of
I do
sponsors.
too.
Shit I've never seen. Who's that?
Exactly. What is this? It's flavor.
Yes.
You know, that's why I say it's vanilla UFC. Here we come. Who the fuck wants to see, oh, wow, look at this Reebok style. Look at that Reebok style. I want to see dynamic fastener. I want to see dude wipes. What the fuck is that? I want to see whatever it is.
Condom Depot.
Yes, I loved all that shit. And then this current event, who was it? Sam Alvey had some tan, spray tan on his chest. He got in big trouble for that one. But, hey, I appreciate the creativity of that man.
He got in big trouble.
You may not fight again in UFC, but you made a good point. And you did it in a way that it couldn't come off. They said they couldn't get that off. It's like, oops.
Oh, so they had to let him fight?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He probably did it on purpose.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just there needs to be a compromise. And right now it's just the UFC is dictating the terms of how much a fighter can make. I have problems with this.
Yeah. I feel like since the gladiator days, there have always been warriors and there's been backers of those. They're like taking that part out.
Yeah.
I think that dilutes the experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And then what happens to all these brands that, you know, a couple of people were saying they would sponsor, I forgot what brand it was, but they said, you know, they sponsor a couple fighters, so you may pay $10,000 or $15,000. They have that fighter wear their gear, and you know, you give them a couple extra thousand if you get a shout out during the Rogan interview after the fight. And they said they couldn't even keep up with all the orders for the month. Like, that's how many orders would come in.
Wow.
So it's a big deal. This is going to hurt, you know, a lot of brands that have supported the UFC, and now the UFC is just, fuck you, everybody. It's just very weird. I feel like we're going down a downward spiral here. Like, where does it end?
Never. Well, unless they become like insolvent and they have to shut everything down.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. I feel like I don't know what they're doing. Like, they have so many events, maybe because they're just trying to saturate themselves everywhere. So the brand is like the sport, you know, in a sense. Once this actually goes, the drug testing and this next 6 months can be interesting. A lot of things are happening. Is it possible for them to go out of business? Are they too big to fail?
I think the government will bail them out like a bank.
You think so, really? No.
No, but who knows, man?
I can bail them out. That'd be awesome.
Too big to fail the UFC. Yeah. It's hard to say, man. It's just, I'm getting a very, like, bad taste in my mouth now when it comes to UFC.
You are.
And I don't like it.
You only like sweet taste?
Yes.
Not bad taste?
Sweet ass taste in my mouth. And then you also sign your likeness away in perpetuity even after you die.
They didn't take that out of the contract?
I read that one again. Like, God damn, man. How can you win as a fighter? You've taken everything away now, so we'll see. Hopefully someone steps up, like someone in the UFC, and sues them. It'd be nice to see. The challenge is you need someone really high up to make a stink. The problem is everyone that's really high up has a deal with Reebok.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much, but
yeah. Not John Jones. Sorry.
Not anymore.
Yeah. They took him off the cover of the UFC video game.
Good. They
Did
should.
you see that? Yeah, the digital copy, like if you go and look
They
on,
scrubbed him from anything UFC.
Yeah.
Did they delete him out of the game?
No, he's still in there.
That'd be awesome. Fucking John Jones is no longer a playable character until he gets his shit together. You just try to pull him up and he's in jail. There's bars over his face.
That would be great. That would be great. He could probably sue them for doing that.
I don't know. Why? They could. It's the UFC. We make all the rules and laws. There you go.
Yeah.
You can't fuck with us. We're good, like the good fellas. Fuck you. Pay me. Right?
Okay. There you go. That was pretty good, actually. The impressions.
We'll do whatever we want. We're the UFC.
Yes.
We put companies out of business. We buy them and then shut them down within a year.
Yes, they do.
Should we move along?
Please.
Get out of this
Yeah,
shit topic.
Beating this
I really hate it.
living
I really
death.
hate it.